We are live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook land. Making sure we're on here. Yes, we are. Awesome. I am Jess DuBose, your relationship coach, author, and the founder of The Love Less Traveled. And welcome to episode 2 of the Love Travelers Roundtable. Here with the lovely Sahsha, Khadaura, and Brandon. And my first question is: have you ever felt lonely while being in a relationship?
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. I gotta do it with a head roll. Yes.
Me too. So say more about that. Tell me about your experience.
So now I could speak from this like highly enlightened space of it was because I was empty within myself, and I was trying to find my own way. But we were taught that someone's supposed to complete you. We all have the Jerry Maguire syndrome, right? You complete me. And we go through thinking that if you're not making me feel good, you're not doing your job. And I was going through what I realized was a transition looking at where I am now. It was really the early stages of the transition. I was in my mid-20s. Like, what am I? What am I doing? I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not happy. I'm a good human. I'm doing all the right things. And I was just feeling kind of low and was going to go into a direction while I was dating this person, a direction of, well, almost like I'm hoping he asked to marry me. And my underlying desire was I wanted to feel whole. And we were good just the way we were, really. But I was lacking something. So that lack and putting the accountability on him turned him into a villain. And he wasn't doing anything but just existing and being a good boyfriend. But I needed more, So I did go through feeling lonely. But now in retrospect, it was because I was in a space of early stages of self-exploration. But I didn't know that like 18 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the thing. It's so cool what we do now. But that wasn't a thing back then,
Yeah. How about you, Brandon?
My experience was pretty similar. I was going through kind of the same transition. For me, it was not so much that I felt empty, that I was looking for somebody to complete me. More so, it felt like it was just hard for me to connect because I was on the other side of that bridge. So trying to be with somebody that not necessarily completed me, but be with somebody that I felt didn't really understand what was going on with me. And there was a lot going with me that I probably didn't understand at the time too. Like going through that process, learning a lot more about myself and about that my spiritual process and my journey to enlightenment. And it's hard to feel connected. It was hard to feel really connected in a relationship. So it made me feel very lonely all the time inside the relationship. And it was easy to talk to my spouse at the time, but it was very hard to it was hard to connect and hard to care about a lot of things that I guess I was supposed to do inside the relationship, or cared about the other person's feelings, because I felt so lonely with them myself, and it just caused for a huge disconnect.
Yeah. How about you, Khadaura?
Yeah, I'd say that I felt lonely, and I felt like this person doesn't understand me, but I also wasn't vulnerable. So I had this mentality of like, this person doesn't know what I'm going through, but I'm also not telling them. And then I'd say on the other end of the spectrum was my spiritual path. I was going through things where I would share something and they just didn't get it. So I felt lonely in that I'm on this path, and it's like you have the human aspect of you wants to be with someone, and then the spiritual side, you want to connect with someone that's spiritual like you. So I felt lonely in both aspects of either I wasn't being vulnerable because I was in the military and there's some things I just wasn't ready to share, but it's like I felt like they should be able to sense it or pull it out of me. And that's what I've also realized in a lot of relationships. We want everyone to read our fucking minds, and they can't. So it's like, how can you not tell that I'm hurting? But also it's like, I'm not sharing. And then again, with the spiritual side, it's I'm learning about Tantra, I'm learning about manifestation, I'm learning about going deeper into myself. So it's like, I'm going to meditate, or even just traveling. You know, I felt lonely in that I love hiking, I love backpacking. So it's like I would date people that didn't really like those things too. So I would do them by myself, or I wouldn't do them. And I felt lonely in that I'm sitting here watching you watch Friends. Like, I could be hiking right now. So I felt lonely in that I hadn't met someone that truly aligned with my life and my path.
Yeah. I was married and I had some similar experience where I felt lonely for probably every single reason that you guys mentioned already. At different points and different reasons. And again, he wasn't the bad guy. There were moments where he wasn't sharing more, but again, the loneliness that I was feeling had nothing to do with my partner. And that's kind of the point I wanted to come across by bringing this conversation up, because I hear all the time single people talking about them being lonely and they want to be in a relationship. And there's a difference between having those moments where you feel alone and wanting that like companion and, you know, whatever that you're looking for, versus loneliness, which has nothing to do with having another person in your life. And so like, I want to kind of start thwarting that thing. It's like, well, aren't you lonely if you're single? Or you should be lonely if you're single, or whatever conversation we're having around that whole idea is messed up, because I know so many people who have been in relationships who are lonely. So that's just like one of the things that was popping in my head today, especially in this year. 2020 is harder, right? So not only are people feeling lonely because they're outside of their communities, but there are some people who are like literally not getting physical touch in their life, literally not getting different things that they normally would. And so they're feeling the heaviness of that more, and might be on dating sites or whatever, which is great. Do what you want to do. But that partner has nothing to do with it. It's like how you engage with yourself. And I love how each of us took 100% responsibility for ourselves, and it had nothing to do with the partner. So that's awesome. You guys have anything else to say about that?
Just awareness. Just when I became aware that it was me, in fact, that wasn't sharing. And as like I work with people, I tell people, like, do the things you used to do. It's like, what did I stop doing? And there were a lot of things I stopped doing. I stopped hiking, I stopped camping, I stopped being out in nature as much because I wasn't doing it in the relationships. But when I started doing that again, I realized there's loneliness and then there's solitude. And I think a lot of people confuse the two of them. I was in a lot of solitude where I was working on myself. I was never lonely because I know I always have me and I have my friends. But I feel like you were saying with the being single, people are like, oh, you're 30 something years old. You've never been married. You have no kids. You're single. Aren't you lonely? And I'm like, no, I'm not lonely. Because that loneliness is that wanton desire to feel like I need someone to complete me. I don't need someone to complete me. I just know that at some point in my life, I'm going to align with someone where we have like similar lifestyles. And it's like, I'm a yin and yang symbol on my own. They're a yin and yang symbol on their own. And we're just rotating with each other instead of like me feeling like they're the other half of something like that.
Huge. That's so big. When I met my husband, I'll never forget this, and I love sharing this story. I walked outside my house. I was living in Georgia at the time. I walked outside my house in Decatur, literally threw my hands up and said, I surrender. I'm done. White flagging it. Like, I was dating people that were wonderful people, but it was almost like that New Edition song, You're Not My Kind of Girl. You're great. You're just not like my kind. And opposed to forcing that, I was just like, okay, I surrender. There's something that I am not aligning with that's keeping said person. And I made that declaration, and maybe about a month later, he appeared just when I was like, I'm gonna, as the saying goes, do me. And because I was in that space of wholeness, and completeness is a lifetime journey. Different things will add to you and be taken away to you. It's all good. But I was in a place of wholeness, being present, feeling full, like I'm good. And then we meet. And it was the most seamless dating And now the most seamless marital experience we had, it was two people that were ready. And we always say timing, we make joke, time. It was just timing. We were in the same club 6 months prior and didn't get a chance to meet. So a lot of times, based on our energy and our vibration, it just wasn't, they say the stars, it was just me. And there was a point that he just said too, okay, I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to surrender. And we were just in our happy place. And then we met on a blind date. So we truly were not on the prowl, like legit, you know, and to this day, it's not his responsibility to make me whole or full. He's aware and I'm aware, and that's why we're good. You know, if I got something going on, what's the word? I got something going on. I'm going to let you know I have it going on, just so you don't think it's about you, because I control this universe within myself. And I think that's why we're able, you know, to grow together. Like you said, two yin and yang, not a yin and a yang, right? Two yin and yang, yin and yang, boom, chemistry.
So it took 1 month and you said I surrendered?
Literally, I said, I threw my hands up, and 1 month later, my homeboy called. Oh, yeah.
It's not an equation, Khadaura.
I guess. What's today? Third?
Yeah,
right.
it was. It was immediate. And when I tell you legitimately, and my girls laugh at this right now because it's a crew of 4 of us, and they're like, "Who was the least tripping off getting married?" Sahsha, you know. And I'm the one like almost 10 years in the game. You know what I mean? Like when you really are not attached and have the desire. You could be attached and have the desire, right? But when you're not attached and still know it's there somewhere, I'm good, I'm whole, bam. So the old saying goes, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Just stay ready. Just stay ready, man.
I like that.
There's so much to enjoy in the meantime. In the meantime, there's so much. There's so much. Prior to COVID, I miss dancing. I love to dance. That's why I love watching Khadaura's videos. And I had literally researched dance studios because I was going to take, my husband, like, I'm going to take a boxing class and I'm going to take a dance class. We want to get back into the things we like to do. It's not his fault. He doesn't have to be a dancer for me to dance. And I don't have to be a boxer for him to box. And, you know, legitimately, you know, that Uncle COVID came through and kind of just, you know, shut everything down. All good, but I'm still going to dance. So I just dance in the house now. You know what I mean? So, because I was like, yo, that's me all day. We have to get back to that, you know, right. Our life, our responsibility.
Our life, our responsibility. Ooh, yeah. Love that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to switch gears. So the next question I have on my list, I'm excited about this. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone that had the same exact sex drive as you?
Oh, that's it?
Oh, yeah. Oh. I was looking for something else. Yeah, I thought there was a second part.
Like there's more
and. Yeah, like, okay. Right, something else coming.
And like Cheetos. Oh, okay.
Same exact sex drive as you. I have not.
I had, I don't know, I'm weird. At one point, yes, but my sex drive has changed drastically. So now, I don't know, it's kind of weird actually, but at one point, yes, I have.
And yes, I have. Yes. But I think that's good to Brandon's point that it, you know, that's a general term, right? Like sex drive. Because even when you're driving a car, you don't drive it all day. So you have peaks and valleys and moments, overall, you know, yes, but there's still moments. And I think this is for men too. Men, you can speak on this. As much as you might like intimacy and having sex, there's moments that you're like, pause, you know, just like it doesn't mean we don't like doing it. That does not mean we don't like doing it, but you know, at some moment. So you know what I mean? Like that term sex drives, like, oh, jackrabbits. No, I trust. Part of the reason it keeps the relationship good. We like doing it, but that doesn't mean that, you know, you know what I mean?
You get tired. So the person that had the same sex drive, I was like, I love sex all day. I'm like, we're about to 18-wheeler this shit. Just go across country or something. And I remember I was just, when I was doing yoga at the time, so I was like super fit and I could last forever. And I remember my partner just being like, okay, I'm good. I was like, he was talking all that shit. But as a male, I've also had my moments where I'm just like, all right, I gotta take a break, I gotta recharge, and it's not gonna get up anymore for a while. Like it's gone so long that it's just like, all right, I gotta take a break. So yeah, definitely. I think you can have the same sex, I'll say the same sex drive desire, but when you actually start doing it, I have gotten cramps and shit like that where I was like, oh, we're gonna have to stop. Gotta put my right leg out and yeah. So
Yeah, that's a good word. Like my desire has changed. Years ago, in my mid-20s, my sex drive was pretty high. And yeah, like I wanted it whenever. Wake up in the morning, I want it. Midday, I want it. Get off work, I want it. At night, I want it. Like whenever, right? When I can get it, I'm getting it. I want it. But now it's like I'll turn it down in a heartbeat, no problems. No, I'm cool. I'm just not interested. Like my sex drive totally changed now to the point where it's a problem for women, or they will want it. And I'll turn it down. I'm okay. And I just keep it moving.
I'm so curious about what's turned it down. What shifted?
Okay, so I'm gonna go into a long story.
Okay.
But basically, I joined this church for a while, and let's just say I went hardcore into it, and ever since then, my sex drive has not been the same.
I feel you on that one.
I
Like
understand.
February marks 4 years of celibacy for me, and people are like, "That's crazy," and I was like, "It is." And in my 20s, I was a whore. I was everybody. I was just wilding out, and it was just like, also I was a soldier. I'm like, I could die when I go back to war, so it was like have all the fun and stuff like that. And then I actually realized it was just casual sex was boring at a point. I was like, I'm tired of having casual sex. There's like no connection. Again, I was doing the yoga. I was becoming a lot more spiritual. And I was like, there's so much more to this, to where I would have sex with someone and then just look at them and be like, I would not want to spend the rest of my life with you. Like,
Yep.
Became the mindset. Not that but I literally, and I told my friend that they were like, how is it that you connect so deeply with people? Because she had mutual friends of people I was with, and she's like, they all love being around you. And it's like, when I'm with someone, I treat you, even if it's a one night stand, like I'm about to spend the rest of my life with you. And then I would start to realize there's aspects of them that I don't want to. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to step back and get to understand my own energy. Just when I started learning about like Tantra and sex magic or anything like that, I realized there's so much of ourselves that I was giving away to other people. And it's like, although you can't get it back, I replenished it all. And it's like, now I'm at a point where it's like, before I engage in something like that, I'm gonna be all up in your head. I wanna see what you're going through in your life. Because I don't wanna have sex and then be laying next to you and it turns into a coaching session. It's not gonna happen.
This is my hallelujah hands. I commend both of you brothers, because single and deliberate, right? And in our society, they say single, do what you want to do. Single, be reckless. And for men, it's not celebrated or encouraged enough to honor yourself and honor the space that you're in, honor the pause, honor the journey, the confusion. So the longing for more. And I think that's huge, because you could only have, and everybody's wired different. I'm very clear on this, but for most, you could only have casual sex with randoms for so long. Just like any other routine, you are outputting and your cup's not being filled, because it can't just be an orgasm. You could do that yourself. It has to be more. And I honor you guys for just like, you know what, Khadaura, 4 years, I honor that. Brandon, I honor that journey. That's just a big deal. And I think that needs to be talked about even more. Even more.
And in the opposite of what you just said, Sahsha, is like, when you're single, do what you want. What we're told it's the opposite is when you're in a relationship, you can't do anything you want, which is also not true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we were just talking about that. We have an individual mandate to ourselves to fill this cup, so in my marriage dynamic, sorry, the sun is just going down real quick. In my marriage dynamic, it's a beautiful ebb and flow, because before we met, we were two whole people. Oh, Sasha's going out with her girls now. She's having a girl night, or Sasha's just in the room. We don't have to be around each other all the time. I can still do very much what I want to do. And I honor that, though. That's why I can go meet with my coaches. I can go, get my hair done. Me and my girls go take an annual trip. Before Uncle COVID, we take an annual trip. We do all that. We can still do that. And we can still have fun. A little person is walking here, so I can't, you know what I'm saying, can't say, but we can still do and create that thing that we were, that brought us together. So why stop doing that? If it worked to get the guy or the girl, why stop doing it? Insane, right?
Yeah, completely insane. I haven't answered the question, but when I was married, we were very much on the opposite wavelengths of sex. And part of that, like, we didn't know what we didn't know. Both of us were virgins before we got married. No idea. Didn't know what we didn't know. But it was a source of contention in our marriage for the whole time that we were married. And I know lots of couples who struggle with this very topic, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because it's like, yes, you might have different sex drives. However, like we were just talking about, desire comes and goes. And so it's a matter of like trusting your partner, allowing your partner, and not taking it like, I know for me personally, the act of rejection in sex meant that I was less than, or I wasn't worthy, or I wasn't lovable. And so I was making that mean something about me that they weren't saying. And so I think a lot of times couples do that, is like the act of rejection or not getting sex or whatever it is that they're looking for is like they're telling themselves that it means something about them, even though that's not what that's saying at all.
That's good. That's really good. Once again, the individuals and the responsible one. Oh, it's about me. He doesn't want to touch me. You don't know what brother or sister got going on. You really, really don't know what they're dealing with. Why does it always have to be about something on the outside? And I've experienced that. It's not that all of a sudden it's not good and then not good. All of a sudden it's not good and then not good. Something's going on in that individual planet. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to stop and consider. A couple is still two individuals that got two stories and two stuff going on. So that was really good, Jess. Really good.
To speak on what Sasha said, it's amazing that when we're having sex, because we're two beings, we have different thoughts of what's going on. And I'll share this story. I had this crazy work week once where I was just burned out, like physically burned out. And I was meeting someone that I normally hook up with. And I had even told her, I was like, I don't think I can perform. I'm literally like so physically tired. And something I learned in that instance was like, in that moment, I think I lasted like 3 minutes, which was horrible for me. I was in so much shame for only lasting 3 minutes. She's over here fucking crying. And I'm thinking, oh shit, was it that bad? She is thinking, oh, because you only lasted 3 minutes, you don't love me, like me. There's something wrong with me. And when she said that, I was like, no, I'm disappointed, and it was interesting to see that we had both had those mindsets where I thought she was crying because I sucked because it was only 3 minutes long. But that, like Sasha said, we have that mindset. We all think differently when it comes down to that stuff. And it's crazy that you can break that barrier if you just communicate and be like, hey, the reason why it is because I had a busy work day and I couldn't get up. It's got nothing to do with you. Once I actually told her that, like, waterworks were gone, she was like super chill. And I was like, awesome. So communication when it comes to those that sex drive and the desires is so important. But people are like, I don't want to talk about it because it'll get awkward. You're about to get naked with this person. You were born naked. It doesn't get any more awkward than that. Like a conversation is nothing. You're about to be naked. They're about to physically see you with nothing on. This is your true self. But you're afraid to tell your partner that you don't want to have sex for the next 20 minutes. You're okay with just 5 or 10 minutes. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. Gosh, Khadaura, the way you said that is true. We get vulnerable but can't speak. Like, that should be the first mode of attack. Hey, by the way. But we don't worry about any of that. I don't know the words because, as we hear all the time, we are taught to live the outside in game. Let me just show up being hot, but let me not say what's going on in here. That's the hard part. The easy part is show up looking like, my Photoshop look and coming through the door, all like this and all that. Exactly all that, but I can't even speak this part. Hey, really and truly, I'm just a little scarred right now because this happened before and the guy cheated on me or whatever. That's really what it comes down to, or whatever your issue is. But we're going to put it on Khadaura because he's had a long work week. You know what I mean? It's just easier to live on the outside. So a lot of times people think they just got to show up. And then when you had something that's really like, no, I'm just physically tapped out. It's like, really? I never hear that because no one talks.
Okay, real quick, while it's a pause, just so you know, we're not on Facebook right now, live. Kurt just texted me, and she's trying to see it. I'm actually been trying to find it this whole time, and it's not on.
It's showing up on my page.
Really? I've been on your page this whole time. I don't see anything.
It's on my page.
Okay, I'm gonna look again because Kurt can't find it either.
Oh, because I see it says live on Facebook. I'm like, wait.
It says live in the corner, yeah. But I've been on and off your page this whole time.
Weird.
I'm going to your page, Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get some backup here to support what's going on. Wow. Okay. Well, it's not on when I go on mine either.
No. Yeah, it's not.
Can you look? Do you have your laptop or?
It's on my laptop too.
Yeah, you're the only one that can see it.
What?
Got tricked. Are you on a Facebook page or on your Facebook profile?
My Facebook profile.
Do you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's Coaching with Jess. But we don't have enough time to fix it if it is broken and I'm
I'll just let you know. Yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll just let you know though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out.
Yes. Did you set any of your posts to private? I did this once. If you set one of your last posts to private, you got to push it back to public. I did the same thing. I
never set any of them to private. Okay, done. There now.
There you go. I just now remember I did this before once. I thought no one loved me because it wasn't showing up.
Okay, I'm gonna check now. Oh, we're on now.
I don't know why it was set to private. Wow. Okay.
We're good now. Hey.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Well, anybody on Facebook, if you're just tuning in, we've been having some conversations about feeling lonely in a relationship, sex drive in a relationship. So if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, let's do some quick introductions. Sahsha, who are you and what you about?
Oh, this is awesome. You picked the right team to have this go on with. I am Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt. I am a certified life coach, but I specialize in health and personal freedom. I help people get to the root of their dis-ease or mental disorder. And I don't mean diagnosed. I mean, if you have the disease of anything from cancer to procrastination, I help you get to the root of your subconscious blocks. Peel that apart, we transmute it so you could experience the healing that you want to live. So I've worked with everyone from cancer patients to people that are just like, you know what, I've done all this and it still ain't working type thing. So just run the gamut of how to unlock your personal freedom through your health. And a lot of times we hear, oh, I went to the doctor, my numbers were good. Well, how do you feel? And that's health. It's not a diagnosis. Health is your state of being. If you're overly anxious, if you are always procrastinating, if you're always in judgment, you're not in health. So that's what I work in. Yes. Outside of that, wife, mother, love to travel, love the outdoors, just love life. Yes, yes, and yes.
Awesome. How about you, Khadaura?
Going on? I am Khadaura. I am a Zen embodiment leadership coach. Zen embodiment is basically merging Zen practice and embodiment type coaching to help people bring forth like their natural self. I feel that a lot of people are hiding who they naturally are in their personal life, their spiritual life, and their business lives. There's a way to be intimate in a non-sexual way in those different aspects of your lives. There's ways to release and find more balance in nature. It's not about spirituality. It's about whatever is natural for you. So I help bring that out of people. Embodiment coaching is powerful because it's less talking and actually embodying and feeling where the pain is in your body so that you can release it. And we do that through forms of somatic therapy, which is dance. I love dancing. I love moving because movement is medicine. On the leadership side, once you break free of all this stuff in your personal and spiritual life, that allows you to create spheres of success and growth in all the other areas of your life. Let's make it yummy.
Excellent. And Brandon?
I'm a personal trainer. I love fitness. I think it's a very important aspect of life. I think it's a aspect of life that a lot of people don't consider when it comes to their overall health, especially when it comes to their mental health too. And that's a big part of what I like to talk to people about. Getting rid of mental blocks when it comes to certain progresses in their life, especially when it comes to your physical fitness. So that's what I do.
Excellent. And I'm Jess. I'm a relationship coach. And I love helping people learn how to have a relationship with themselves so that they can have easeful, amazing, beautiful relationships with other people. And I actually have a workshop coming up called How to Have Difficult Conversations Without Abandoning Yourself. And that's really about like, I know, and it's particularly for women. So I know so many women who just are like not sharing their truth because they don't want to make someone upset, or they don't want to make someone angry, or they don't want to rock the boat, or they feel like it's going to do a disservice or whatever. But the end thing that happens is that they forget themselves, they abandon themselves, and that actually affects everybody and themselves. So if that's something that resonates with you, message me and I can get you connected. It's coming up a week from today, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of these beautiful humans I have tagged above here. So if any of what they shared resonates with you, click on their page and follow them or message them or comment here and say, hey, Sahsha, message me and we'll get you connected, because these are some beautiful, amazing people that I love and highly recommend working with. So let's move on to a new question. What's the stupidest argument you've ever had with a partner?
Let me.
It's hard to think of the stupid.
I'm like, wait.
Let me filter through the top one. Like, which one was the stupid?
I'm with Brandon. Let me get a sip of water.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can rank that. That's
the petty that I participated in, y'all. Legit.
It doesn't, in the top 10, it doesn't have to, you don't have to say, because I know sometimes it could be hard to rank.
Dang, give me a minute. Ooh.
Yeah, I need to think about this one. Because honestly, I tend to get it worked out of my mind immediately.
I can go first. I had an argument with a partner that was like, I want to ask you a question and I want you to tell me who you think is right or wrong. Cool. And you know your partner expects you to choose their side. She's like, I borrowed my friend's digital camera. This is back in like 2006. Digital cameras were everything. Borrowed my friend's digital camera and she's asking for it back. I have plans to use it, but she says she needs it for her birthday party. I was like, well, how long you had it? She's like, 2 months. And I was like, well, you should give it back to her. This was a full-blown fucking argument about the digital camera. And I'm like, so your friend let you borrow the camera and she needs it back for her birthday? She said, yeah. And you're not giving it back. Why? She's like, because I wanted to use it tonight. Full-on argument about that. That's probably one of the stupidest conversations I've ever had. And I was just like, it's your friend's camera. It's like, yeah. And you don't want to give it back. A totally stupid fucking conversation about something like that.
Time, this energy we can't get back. I'm telling you, I know. I'm just, okay, guys, I'll go. And I'm being honest here. my husband and I don't argue a lot because I grew up in a very argumentative home. So I'm like, there's other ways to communicate. Arguing is a choice, right? But I've participated in my fair share. One of my boyfriends, he was from another country and he legit got mad at me because he said Americans live their life too much like the TV show Friends. And he really went in about how that's not real. And that's not, because at the time I was cool with almost everyone that I dated. All my exes, we were cool. And I told him that said person who was married with the freaking family, all good, we were cool and coming over, and he just went off. You Americans just don't have any respect, and you just live your life loosely and all this. And I'm sitting there in awe because I'm like, but we're not together. We hadn't been together in, at this time, I don't know, 10 years. It's my boy, and you're mad because we're cool, so I'm supposed to hate him? And he was like legitimately trying to stake his claim in the ground. I was like, I can't even participate. And I felt like I was an observer in a bad movie, like, wow. So yeah, that goes down as probably the most silly argument I've ever been a part of. Because I'm still friends with someone that I used to date when I was like 18.
I honestly can't think of that many stupid arguments because I tend to let that shit ride, and that's it's gone. It don't exist no more.
I can probably tell you 5 that you and I have had.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Friend arguments count. Shoot.
Yeah,
Oh, we used to
like,
date too. That's not just friend.
Oh, okay. So I need you guys. Okay, I'm gonna put the questions out for you two. What is one of the most silly arguments both of you guys have participated in together? Jess, go. Because
Okay,
B
yeah,
over
Jess,
here being like,
you can
here
take
go
mine.
B. I don't do B's like I don't do arguments. Come on now.
Oh man.
I don't remember, so you can tell me.
The one I had in mind wasn't with Brandon. Let me go with the one I had in mind first. So Sahsha and Khadaura, I love how you picked arguments where you were the logical one. I'm gonna choose one where I was not the logical one. My ex-husband and I got into an argument about nail polish. He wanted to wear nail polish. He was going through my bag of nail polish. He was going to put nail polish on. And we were getting ready for like Easter Sunday with his friends and my friends. And we were like, he was doing it. So I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that this was something he enjoyed. What? And then, I had this whole idea of what it means to be a man in my mind and how that's not appropriate. And we're going to church. And like, at first I thought he was just going to play with the nail polish and then take it off before we go to church. He's like, no. We had this whole blowout conversation argument about it. We had to we were staying at a friend's house. So we had to go on a walk outside to have this fucking conversation about nail polish, where I was just so distraught and upset that my man wanted to wear fucking nail polish. And now I think it's ridiculous and hilarious because who fucking cares? He can wear nail polish if he wants to. Like, I actually, I'm friends with my ex. I have a book all about this. There's a chapter actually in my book about this. My book is called I Don't Hate My Ex-Husband. And we recently went to a friend's wedding in February where he was part of the bridal party, and so was I. We were actually both in the bridal party on the bride's side, and we were at the salon, and people were getting different things done. He was getting his nails done, and he and I were catching up while he was getting his nails done. It was like nothing, didn't matter. And I was sitting there like, I'm sorry, Morris. I'm sorry I made this such a big deal a few years ago, because this is normal and this is what you want to do. And it actually looks pretty awesome when he does it. So yeah, that was one of the stupidest arguments I've ever gotten.
So you weren't really mad at him. You were just mad at how it looked, huh?
Right. And that was the other point of this story, is that whatever we're talking about stupid arguments, it's probably not it had nothing to do with the nail polish. Mm-hmm. So it was like how it looked, how this picture of what I thought a man needed to be and what that needed to be for me to feel safe in my life. So I felt insecure and unsafe, and how it would look. Like, it had nothing to do with the fucking nail polish, but that's what we were arguing about.
The beautiful thing is you guys like made it past and you guys are still cool now, you know, which the argument that I got into, that person would not be happy that you and him are cool. Okay. All right.
Yep. Brandon, you remember that time we got in a fight about card games that we played together?
Which one?
It happened twice. It was one at your house. We were playing.
Yeah. I remember that one. That was a stupid fucking argument. Yes.
We were arguing about the rules of the game, and I had taught him how to play the game, and I was pissed that he wasn't following the rules, and he just thought the rules were stupid, so he was cheating.
You guys need to have a whole show about stupid arguments. That right there, I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yes, that was one time. I don't remember the details. So the second time we hit the card game, it was at Jess' house, and it was supposed to be a friendly event. It was quite a few people there. It was my current girlfriend at the time, Jess, the guy she was talking to, and the people she was staying with. So it was a whole party, right? And we are playing. What's the name of that game we were playing?
Was it Dutch Blitz?
No, it was the game Slaps. Or something with slaps, but it wasn't Dutch Blitz.
Oh, Egyptian Rescue?
That's what that's what I thought. So we were playing Egyptian Rescue. And I felt like Jess had the cards too close to her and she was cheating. And it became, I think that was the most tension we have ever had between each other at any time. We've argued a lot. It was never that tense before. Like, I was fuming in my body. I'm like, I'm ready to go. This is pissing me off. She needs to move the fucking cards away from her. She's cheating. Stop cheating. Like, it was so bad and so unnecessary.
Doesn't it sound like the card games we, you know, as a culture, African Americans, we grow up with the domino game and the spade game. Like, what crazy arguments they get into. Like, how y'all was just cool 1 minute and literally throwing chairs the next minute? What?
It's intense.
So you guys were painting that picture for me. Thank you very much.
I like playing with your ass anyways, and people just and at the end of it, like, nobody was actually wrong. It's just like people got mad about nothing. Somebody just got lucky today, and that's just what it is. Because you're mad you normally win and you lost, and that's also because in our culture we talk a lot of shit too. So
Facts.
Well, and the thing is too, like, I think with Brandon and I are both stubborn as fuck. So neither of us was going to move on that. And we were in an environment where we didn't feel like we could openly speak. And if we could have openly spoke to each other, I don't think the tension would have been there. But because your girlfriend was there and she already didn't like me, like, it was like, we can't just tell each other the truth right now. That's why there's so much tension.
Yeah, it was wild time.
But I love silly conversations like this that lead to other shit where it's like, it could have been where Brandon's like, you're cheating in the game just like you cheated on me, and everyone's like,
right.
Oh, shit. And it's just like, what the, oh yeah, I
everybody
love
grab their drink like
something so small. It's like, you're cheating in the card game just like you got a little ass dick, and everyone's like, whoa, what the, you cheated when you told me you was all big, and so you're like, it's a fucking card game, like,
right.
We're trying to play cards.
Yeah,
I've heard those conversations. I love watching it. I'm like, that escalated really quickly.
Real bad. You're like, what did I miss?
Man.
I did have one other one I wanted to share, if that's all right.
Yeah.
And what it is I don't like when I'm like trapped in a question by the women I've dated. We were watching Dawn of the Dead, and she turned to me and was like, if I became a zombie, would you still love me? And I was like, no. And she was like, why? And I was like, because you'd be a zombie. And she's like, so you wouldn't love me anymore because I'm a zombie. So if I changed my appearance and who I was, you wouldn't love me. I was like, you'd be trying to kill me. How you know I'm gonna try to kill you? I'm like, because you're basing it off this movie. She was livid. and like didn't want to sleep next to me the whole night. It was like, I can't believe. And then obviously she's gonna tell her girlfriends who are gonna agree with her to be like, oh, I can't believe he would just leave you because you're a zombie. Well, I'm supposed to die with you? Like, I'm not a ride or die person. That's not how I am. If you turn into a zombie, I'm gonna love you and then go on with my life. But I want to be the one to do it for you because I love you. Well, that was one of the dumbest conversations, and I think we didn't like hang out for like 2 or 3 days after that. She's just so pissed off, and I thought, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. My answer's still the same, but that was a very stupid conversation that night, and we were around people when it happened. So I just thought, wow, and people co-sign because Brandon knows you'll get the guys that would be like, well, baby, I would love you if you was a zombie. And I'm like, fucking liar.
Lying mother. Right.
There's always going to be those guys that go, baby, I would still marry you if you was. I'm like, really, bro?
They need them brownie points. They ain't trying to lose that sleepy time. That's what that is.
Exactly.
They know damn well.
You're going to be on the couch. I'm going to be knocking boots.
Oh, amazing. Okay, we're coming up on close, so I want to end with this question. If you could give your 21-year-old self some advice about relationships, what would it be?
The thing that you try to hide is gonna come out anyways. Just be honest. Just be honest. Mm-hmm.
That actually happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I learned from I used to quick story. I used to be married, and we split fairly early. But it took us about a year to actually get the papers filed to separate, get the divorce. And I was dating someone during that time period, and I was so scared to tell them that I was still married at the time because I thought they was gonna leave. And they found out in the craziest way. I ran into her auntie, my ex-wife auntie, and she asked me, were we still married, while I was on the phone with the girl I was talking to. And she heard in the background my answer. I said, yeah. And it just never was the same after that. And ever since then, every person I dated, I told them pretty much right off the bat, get that shit out the way. It's your decision after that. But I'll learn my lesson from that. So that is huge. But yes, good advice.
Wow. That's a big one. Talking about, we just spend so much energy trying to cover up. Like that takes work. To literally grab something and pilot takes work.
Facts.
And at the end of the day, so what happens when it falls apart, it falls hard because everything comes down with it. And like you said, that was a prime example. Being taught to uphold the look and uphold the, the facade is how most of us were conditioned. So you try to hide the stuff, which probably ain't even that bad anyways. Now, Brandon, nowadays, if you tell someone I'm separated, I'm going through divorce, most people are like, okay. Or, whatever, right?
But I didn't know until,
of course,
know until you know, right?
Because we're taught, oh, that's taboo. That's bad. You can't talk about it. Hide, dig, pile on top of there. Woo, that's a word. Thank you for sharing that.
If I had to tell myself something back then, it would definitely be don't stop buying and doing all those extra things for people to love you. Because I was that guy when I was younger. I bought a Mustang just because it was like, I need the Mustang. It was a 1995. I need the Mustang for women to like me. And I would just take people out to dinner all the time. Also because you're a man, you need to do this. You're a soldier. And I was just always spending money on people. And then I realized it was actually a video I watched from someone. And he was like, like one date costs like this much money on average. And imagine just going out on multiple dates and you're spending all this money. And at the time, like in my experience, a lot of women would just like another guy that had more. And I would feel like I wasted so much money. And he was like, instead of spending all this money on this, invested in this, and know that the person that's going to align with you and love you is going to love you for who you are. That would definitely be my advice for the 21-year-old version of myself. It's just, you don't have to go all out and above like all the time to get someone to love you or like you. Like, just be yourself. Like, walk around barefoot, drive the shitty car, eat the things you like eating, because there's going to be someone that's like, oh, I like this guy, he's real, because they've probably been hurt by all the guys that had everything, did all the things, because those are usually the fuckboys. So it's like, I tell myself, be like, don't be the fuckboy, don't be the asshole, don't be the playboy. Just continue to be yourself, and you will find that amazing person.
That's so good.
I would, two things. One, to piggyback off what Khadaura just said, yes, be yourself completely. Be yourself, and don't give in to trying to be what the other person wants. And I found myself doing that quite a bit, where I would try to find commonalities in a person just because I might like one or two things about them, or I might be attracted to them. So I would try to grab onto them by trying to do things that they like. And I would, leave myself, over here for a time. And then when I bring myself out, I usually find out we actually don't have that much, don't have much compatibility with each other. So be yourself from the beginning and stay yourself. That's would be the number one thing that I would tell my younger self, for sure.
That is so good. I think that has to do with conditioning too, right? Like, you can't, all back to the beginning of this. We can't be alone. You can't be alone. Yep. We need someone to completely. And wow, I've been single so long, so let me just find somebody, Yeah.
And the other thing I would tell myself is to take your time. Take your time. Get to know the person. It's okay with being friends full time. Take your time.
Absolutely.
I think the thing that I would want to tell myself is that what your partner does and says is not a reflection of you. It means nothing about you.
Fact. It's that inner kingdom, right? That inner world that's got stuff going on. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Whew, that's the word. That's a whole nother show. If he cheats, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Part 1. It's true.
Yeah. Because that is the conversation I had in my mind for far too long. It's like, what this person says or does means that I'm not worthy, or I'm not lovable, or I'm not pretty, or whatever story I was making up.
So good. I think it goes for men too. We like to always say women are the victim, but women play games too. They've played games. And they say, I've cheated. Oh, look at Brandon face. Yep. And they cheated because we cheated on them because the man, if the woman cheats, the woman had to be that terrible, or the man had to be that terrible. Nah. Depending on the condition of the individual world, that person could have been just so off and not really ready to be in a capacity for a relationship that they expressed that by cheating on someone that could have been freaking amazing. Has nothing to do with what they didn't do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, beautiful humans, for being here for the second episode of the Love Travelers Roundtable. And again, if you're liking what you're seeing, I'm going to host this once a month with different people. And if you want to connect with Brandon, Khadaura, or Sahsha, they are totally open. Message them, comment below. We'll get you connected. And thank you so much for being here and watching.
Thank you, guys. Mwah.